Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Hard Count podcast. And today, we're going over some week 1 waiver wire pickups. Be a proactive fantasy owner. Pick these guys up before week 1 because they're going to be all the fantasy owners are going to be all over them after this week. I got 4 guys for you guys today. Let's get right into it. My first guy on the Las Vegas Raiders. I almost said Oakland there. Bryan Edwards, wide receiver. He was announced as the starting X receiver for the team about a week ago. Tyrell Williams now on injured reserve. I think it's nice to see this guy finally getting on some fantasy radars before the final weekend of draft season and football starting tomorrow. So I think Edwards got a great chance to outproduce Henry Ruggs, who was named the other starter for the Raiders. Very talented guy, and I think, it's not the most pass-heavy offense in the Raiders system, but I like Derek Carr a lot as a quarterback. He is my 15th best quarterback, I don't think we can expect huge volume for Bryan Edwards, but I think he could still be a solid wide receiver 4, maybe even wide receiver 3 with week-to-week upside. I like him a lot. I think after this week, people are going to notice that he is that number 2 guy in that offense, and people are going to start picking him up. I think he's going to be a very, very high priority guy for people after this week, so definitely pick him up before the week starts this week. Because of that wide receiver 2 spot, he's definitely going to be a good value. I think he's a guy that you can stash on your bench with confidence. Again, week-to-week upside that you could definitely play in the flex every once in a while and is only going to get better as the year continues. And so I'm not projecting that I'm going to play him this week. I don't think he's going to have a spectacular week this week, but I think people are going to notice that he is that second guy in Las Vegas and people are going to pick him up. So I like Bryan Edwards a lot for the Raiders. Named the wide receiver 2. I could even see him being the wide receiver 1 by the end of the year, outperforming Henry Ruggs. I'm not a huge fan of Henry Ruggs from Alabama, but I like Bryan Edwards a lot. I think it'll be a very interesting game to watch how the Raiders use him this weekend. So yeah, pick up Bryan Edwards if you got a spot on your bench for him. He will definitely do you no wrong. All right, next, we've got a running back. We're staying in the same division, the AFC West. We've got Joshua Kelley of the Los Angeles Chargers. He flashed his potential in training camp this year. Anthony Lynn has said he's very impressed with Joshua Kelley. He's their rookie, especially with his versatility in the passing game as a pass catcher, which we know Austin Eckler does very well. We're going to see Joshua Kelley, I think, have a strong role as the RB2 in that offense maybe. I like Austin Eckler a lot, but Joshua Kelley is definitely a threat to him in terms of fantasy. Week 1 against the Bengals, I'm not sure if I want to start him. I think that we'll have to see how those carries play out, but definitely a guy that I think if his role is there this week, he's going to be a massive guy that people are trying to pick up, and I think the role definitely has the potential to be there. So if you got a spot on your bench for Joshua Kelley, definitely pick him up. Chargers, I think they're going to run it a lot more this year. They're going to take some of the load off of Austin Eckler. So this RB, Joshua Kelley, definitely has some appeal in that RB3 flex spot in PPR leagues especially. So, again, the season opener should give people some more insight onto what that Chargers backfield is going to look like. But I like Joshua Kelley as a guy that is going to look good in this week 1 matchup against the Bengals that you want to pick up. Not to mention the fact that Justin Jackson was missing the tail end of training camp. I think Joshua Kelley may have leaped him as that RB2. So very much should be interesting. I like Joshua Kelley a lot. Pick him up if you got a spot on your bench for him and you need a RB that has potential to be a guy that you can regularly play in that flex spot. Definitely pick up Joshua Kelley, a guy to look out for sure this week. All right. Next, we've got a wide receiver, another AFC guy, Michael Pittman, 29% ownership. I'm not as high on him. I don't think you need to pick him up this week, but I like him a lot, and I think if you want to be a proactive fantasy owner, pick up Michael Pittman. Again, not a must pick up, but I think that it's a guy that you definitely want to pick up if you want to be ahead of the curve. Very talented guy, for the Colts. People are getting very hyped up about him. Was taken with the Colts' first pick, shows me that they have a lot of confidence in him, and that's why I have confidence that he is going to come out there and be their number 2 guy. I think a lot of people are waiting on week 1 to see who that number 2 guy is. I think I have confidence that it's going to be Michael Pittman, and we've seen, we know Phillip Rivers is the new quarterback in that offense, and I think he's going to do a good job in that offense because he struggled so much with that offensive line in LA. And guess what? Now he's with the Colts, have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. I think Phillip Rivers is going to be much more comfortable. And since 2009, Phillip Rivers in that Chargers system supported a wide receiver 2 in that offense with a top 40 finish 8 times over that span of time, including he supported a wide receiver 3 with a top 50 finish 4 times over that period of time as well. So he can support Michael Pittman in fantasy as that wide receiver 2, and I expect him to be that wide receiver 2. Not to mention the fact that T.Y. Hilton gets injured quite often. So I really like Michael Pittman. Pick him up. He's only owned in 29% of leagues. So if he's on the waivers, you got a spot for him, pick him up. I think he's going to be a top priority for a lot of guys after this week. Then we've got a guy that finally we've got another guy in that AFC South division. We got 4 AFC guys, I just realized. 55% ownership, so he might not be there for you. He's a tight end. I really like him a lot. Jonnu Smith, again, not quite as unowned as the 3 guys before him, but if he's on your waivers, I love Jonnu Smith this year in fantasy. Again, may not be available in your leagues, but if he is, definitely snag him up off the waivers before week 1 while you still can. I'm going to talk about this one for a little bit longer. Week 7 on, Jonnu Smith was tight end 12, ranked amongst the best in several metrics, ranked 2nd in both yards per target, yards per catch. He was also 3rd in fantasy points per target, beating out both Travis Kelce and George Kittle in that department. We've seen Tannehill and him been very good together. Tannehill had the 6th best passer rating when targeting Jonnu Smith. And after taking that primary role as tight end 1, Jonnu Smith saw a target share of 13.4%. And if that target share went up just by 1%, it would have been good enough for him to finish as the tight end 8. So Smith's breakout season definitely started at the end of last year when Ryan Tannehill was taking over. And I think some guys just haven't taken notice. I think we're going to see a great year from him. And there's just a lack of competition for targets in Tennessee also. I mean, obviously you have the clear number 1, A.J. Brown, very talented young receiver. But after that, you got Corey Davis. And I don't like Corey Davis at all. I like Jonnu Smith a lot, though. He provides a lot of value for that Titans offense, thanks to Pro Football Network for this stat, which uses separation, catch rate, several other NFL next-gen statistics to find out who contributed most to the team's offense. And Jonnu Smith ranked as their tight end 1 with an elite score of 44.3. He's an elite option in that offense that is much improved. If you're looking for a guy that you can get off the waivers as a tight end 2, definitely pick up Jonnu Smith. I think he could finish as like a tight end 7, tight end 6 by the end of the year. And I have confidence in him a lot. Again, owned in 55% of leagues, so he might not be available. But if he is, very, very solid pickup. I love Jonnu Smith this year. Yeah, pick up Jonnu Smith. So, again, my 4 guys, Bryan Edwards, Joshua Kelley, Michael Pittman, and Jonnu Smith. That's 4 guys you should pick up before week 1. Stay ahead of the curve. They're going to be steals. Yeah. All right. Thanks so much for listening. This is the Hard Count. I'm so excited for Sunday's games tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below. Maybe if you are considering picking one of these guys up. But yeah. Anyways, peace.